Hi everyone, it's Lindy. Welcome back to another installment of Hustling Up Dinner. Tonight we are doing something just a little bit different. We're gonna take one staple item and turn it into 5 separate dishes for 5 different dinners. And that staple item is taco meat. Sometimes if I know that it's going to be a really super busy week, I will try to cook some things ahead of time on Sunday to make meals a lot easier during the week. And one of those things is taco meat. Sometimes on Sundays, I will take some time and I will cook up maybe 3 pounds of taco meat and have it in the refrigerator so that we can make at least 5 different meals with it if we want to, whether it's for 5 different dinners, 5 separate lunches. You don't have to just have tacos every time with taco meat. There's so much more you could do with it. So I'm going to show you our 5 favorite ways to use taco meat. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do with taco meat is the obvious. We're going to do tacos. However, instead of just making plain old tacos, I'm going to do my husband's favorite rendition of tacos. And I'm sure you guys have heard of it. They're referred to often as double deckers. But basically all we're going to do is just the standard taco dress, right? We've got, let's see, we got some taco meat, some cheese, some lettuce. We're just gonna set that aside. We'll go ahead and we'll give them a little bit of taco sauce too. A standard dress taco, but we're gonna make it a little different. Now that our lovely little taco is made, we're gonna take just a regular soft taco shell size tortilla, and we're just gonna slap some refried beans on it. Do you want cheese on the beans, babe?
Sure, a little bit.
All right, my husband wants some cheese on the beans, so we're gonna put some cheese on the beans. So then we have that all put together, and we're just gonna take our taco, and we're just gonna sit it right in there. Boom, homemade double decker.
World taste tester.
How'd that taste? Yeah, that's just not bad face.
That's a not bad face.
That's the not bad face. The next thing that we are going to make is a crispito, or I guess you could call it a taco pizza. I call it a crispito. People call it taco pizza. It's all the same. Basically, we're just going to take any tortilla of size. We're gonna smear some refried beans on it. You have to make sure that you don't layer things on super duper thick, because if you do super thick, then it won't get crispy. And that's kind of the point of doing this whole thing, is to make it nice and crispy. So we're gonna put some beans on it. We're gonna put some ground beef on it. Some taco sauce on it. Maybe we'll kind of smear it around a little bit. That way we don't have any pockets of sauce. And then we're gonna sprinkle some cheese on it. Remember, don't go too heavy because we want it to get crispy. We don't want it to get so weighed down with stuff that it doesn't crisp up. And that's it. We can top it with some onions or some sort of a veggie like a bell pepper, or you could just bake it as is. And we're going to put it in the oven at 425 degrees for about 10 to 12 minutes until the edges are nice dark brown and it's crispy. This is out of the oven. Again, it doesn't look very pretty. I guess we could put pretty greens on top to make it extra fancy, but it's nice and crispy, and oh my gosh, it tastes so yummy. Crispitos for the win. Yeah, Benjamin wants some. You want some Crispito, Benjamin? Say yeah. Oh, he's shaking his head no. That's okay. Mommy and Daddy will eat it. Next thing we're gonna do is a really simple taco soup. So we're gonna start with just a couple of cups of water, And there's really no measuring in this. You can literally make as much soup or as little soup as you want. The water you can really use to stretch the soup based on how many people you're trying to feed. But as a general rule, I usually just start with about 2 cups of water. In there, we're going to put in some beef bouillon. This is my favorite kind. And I like it because it's just a tub of granules. You don't have to worry about cubes. So for 2 cups, since we're making a soup and we want it nice and, you know, flavorful, I'm just gonna do 2 scoops and just bring that up to a boil. Just use a whisk and break up some of the granules. Next thing I'm gonna do is just add 1 can of corn, can of sweet corn. I did drain it first, so don't put the liquid in there, just put the corn in there. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is 1 can of beans. Now this is where you get to pick literally any kind of beans that you want. I'm choosing to use a tri-bean blend, and sometimes I will use black beans, sometimes I will use chili beans. It doesn't matter what kind of bean you want to use, but just make sure that you rinse them before adding. Okay, and I have my beans rinsed. Just dump them right on in there. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is add some taco meat. Again, there's really no measuring aside from just dumping cans in. So I'm just gonna take, yeah, that's right, I'm using my hands. I'm just gonna take a giant fistful, maybe a fistful and a half, because we like our soup meaty. Now, after adding all of that, my next thing would be Rotel, but unfortunately, when I went into my cabinets to grab the Rotel, I didn't have any. So instead, I'm just gonna substitute with some salsa. I mean, really, like I said, this isn't like a step-by-step any kind of recipe. Normally I would throw in a can of Rotel, but since I don't have that, I'm just gonna substitute something with tomato in it, and salsa is my next go-to. Obviously, I'm not gonna put a whole jar of salsa in here. So I'm just gonna kind of, I don't know, maybe do 1/3 of a jar, just because I want to get some of the flavor from the salsa in there and get a little bit of tomatoes in the soup. So now we've got all of that good stuff going. And now we're going to work on seasoning. Now, you can either choose to add things like salt, chili powder, onion powder, garlic powder, or you can just go for a standard taco seasoning. Now, keep in mind that we do have the beef bouillon in there as well as the taco meat, and the taco meat is already flavored. So you don't want to go too wild and crazy with the flavoring, but I am going to sprinkle a little bit of taco seasoning in there rather than using individual seasonings, because this is kind of like a season all to me. If you have your own taco seasoning made, you can use that if you don't want to use this, or you can just season individually, just depending on what you like, what your taste is. And then always remember not to put in too much seasoning, because with soups, flavors can really sneak up on you, especially the longer it cooks. And you can't take seasonings out after you've put them in. So start slow, let it simmer, and then taste it and see if you need to add more. That's tasting so good. You really don't have to add a lot of flavoring because everything you're putting in the pot is already flavored. But I do always add a little bit of something that my husband doesn't even know that I add.
What?
Yes, he's hearing about it for the very first time. I always hit it with a little bit of sugar. I know that might sound weird. But it really cuts down on all of the acidity from the tomatoes, and it really helps to cut through the really saltiness that usually comes with Mexican food. So I always add just a couple of pinches of sugar. Be careful not to add too much, otherwise it'll be way too sweet. That's it. It really takes only maybe 10 minutes of cooking and simmering, and it's ready to go. The flavors really don't need that long to meld together, so it's a really super quick dinner, and it tastes like it was simmering all day. It's really good. So I'm just gonna set this over here. All right, and then, oh, I love the soup. So for the soup, I personally just like to add some cheese. I might have to add more, but I gotta get it first. And then I like to crunch up a little bit of chips on there. My husband prefers to have his chips on the bottom. I prefer to have mine on top. And then we're just gonna top with a little bit of sour cream. Like how fancy this looks? I know, I'm so fancy. And then, oh yes, of course, avocado. I want some avocado in there. That's how I like my soup. The next thing is a taco salad. So I just used one of these taco bowl shell contraptions, and I'll make sure to put the link in the video description for whatever the actual name is. But this is something that my husband bought for us a few years ago, and we freaking love it. So anyway, we've already created one of the bowls, and so I just filled it with a basic salad mix, and it's really super simple. We're just gonna put some taco meat on there. We're gonna put some cheese on here. We'll do some salsa, or if you have a special salad dressing you wanna do, you can do that. And then I like avocado on there. So that's probably one of the healthiest ways to use taco meat, but super simple and really fast. Taco salad. So next up, we're gonna make quesadillas. So you can make quesadillas just on a flat top griddle or the stove top, but we really like using this quesadilla maker by Hamilton Beach. I'll put the video, or I'll do the link in the video description so you guys can check it out. Of course, it's not a necessity when you're making quesadillas, but it's really nice because my oldest kids are able to make quesadillas for themselves without messing with the stovetop, so that's nice. And we found that the tortillas that fit the best in this contraption are the soft taco size. I think they're approximately 8 inches across if I had to guess. So let's make some quesadillas. Okay, so this one I'm just gonna make really super simple, but really you can add anything you want in here. You know, you could add a variety of different beans if you don't wanna use meat, or if you just wanna use meat and cheese. You always have to have cheese though. I find you have to have cheese. If you don't have cheese, it all falls apart. But all we're doing is we're just laying a tortilla right there on the bottom. I'm just gonna take some cheese here. We're just gonna sprinkle some cheese. We're not gonna go too thick because I don't want it to ooze out, but we need enough cheese to hold the integrity of the quesadilla. And we're just gonna do meat and cheese for the sake of time and ease. But normally if I was making one just for myself and not one of my kids, I would probably use some black beans or some refried beans, and I'd put some onions in here. But we're just gonna do meat and cheese right now. And then if you want, you can add a little bit more cheese. And then we're just going to grab another tortilla, lay it across the top, and close it. And it does have a snap function, so we're gonna snap it shut. And this little light, when it goes off, it'll indicate that it is ready. All right, it's the moment of truth. Oh yes, so simple. You don't have to worry about flipping it. I love it. And it's quesadilla time. We just need a dip. I personally prefer some sour cream or some taco sauce. Anything else you'd like to say, honey?
God, I love being married to a good cook.
Good man. Good man. Okay, you guys, that's all I have for you today. Hopefully you found this useful and it gave you some really good ideas of how to use taco meat instead of just having tacos and burritos all the time. Make sure to give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Also, remember to check out the video description for useful links. And don't forget to subscribe for more content. I will see you guys with my next video. Bye.